So Adrian's getting upset with me because he thinks Hitler was the good guy in World War II, and he thinks that I don't understand what happened in World War II, or he's accused me of not understanding. So I'll just put it on record now, my views on World War II. The 322 people, the same people that we're dealing with today, were the same people that were involved in getting Hitler to power, just as they got Nixon to power. You know, toe rags. That's what they look for. They look for toe rags, preferably violent people. Hitler was their man. Hitler they promoted. The Vatican Enabling Act. That's how Hitler rose to power. He couldn't have got to where he got without the help of the Vatican. And of course, it was Mein Kampf was said to be written by his Jesuit teacher. Behind all of these figures in history, you'll find a Jesuit teacher, and behind the Jesuit teacher, you'll find the Pope. Churchill and the Freemasons didn't want peace. They wanted all-out total war. It was the Zionists were the Jews' worst enemy, because it was the Zionists, I should say not the Zionists, because there's lots of different types of Zionists, but the fundamentalist, extremist Zionists who wanted to provoke Hitler into responding how he did, or responding how he is alleged to. He definitely didn't like Jews. He definitely persecuted the Jews. Well, the whole gas thing, obviously, there's a load of garbage and propaganda and myth created all around that. I'm not going to get drawn into that at this point. I'm just going to tell you what I know for sure, and that's that the Zionist element tried to create. The Zionist Jews killed the non-Zionist Jews, or tried to provoke the Hitler into responding how he did, so it would force the Jews back to Israel. Okay, that is fulfilling one of the Bible prophecies. Again, this is what these psychos do. In Jeremiah, we've got a verse that says, and it's what the futurists, it's what the literalists, Hal Lindsey believes. In Jeremiah, we read that Hitler was the hunter. It says that God will hunt the Jews out of the rocks and the crevices and hunt them back to Israel. So Hitler, the hunter, I don't know if this is still going to show up. Showing up because my keyboard's not working. I'll show you this at a later date. But basically, Hitler was the hunter in the literalist Freemasonic literalist stage show of trying to fulfill the Bible prophecies literally. The World War II was artificially created. I mean, it was created like World War I was. The powers behind it, the Vatican, the Jesuits, and the Zionists, and the Freemasons. It was pretty much a stage show, in as much as that Hitler, from what we can see, from all the evidence we've got available, he actually did escape to Argentina. I mean, there's more evidence that he escaped to Argentina than he died in the bunker. And they let him and his hierarchy escape. So yeah, I'd just Churchill was just, a right scumbag. I mean, he just why is he worshipped? Why is he worshipped? The fat slob, taking speed, cocaine, drinking whiskey, going to, tuxedo on. It must have been a hard war for him, right? I mean, the guys on the front line. That's what they were the heroes. And the reason I get annoyed with Adrian, and Adrian pulled me up before. People have pulled me up before, saying, "Oh, you shouldn't say the World War II was good and a fight between good and evil or anything like that." I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the young guys who went off to fight in World War II thought that they were fighting and believed that they were fighting for freedom. Okay, the fact that Churchill was just as bad, if not worse than Hitler. He certainly was more of a warmonger than Hitler, because there was lots of chances Hitler gave Churchill to end the war, opportunities. He could have wiped us out at Dunkirk. I mean, there was lots of opportunities where and gestures that Hitler made, sending Hess over, for example. And we didn't want that. The Freemasons wanted total war. The bombing of cities, for example, we started that. We calculated that Hitler was probably going to beat us. The Germans were probably going to beat us. We were running out of airplanes, and the only way we could this is our excuse anyway. The only way we could stop Hitler destroying all our airplanes on the ground, because he was bombing the crap out of all our airfields. He was bombing all the Hurricanes and Spitfires. We didn't have many Spitfires then, on the ground. So what Bomber Command allegedly did is intentionally targeted cities, knowing targeted civilians in cities, knowing that Hitler would respond in kind, because they know how to play him. And so when Hitler found out that we'd intentionally bombed civilians in cities, he then started bombing civilians in cities instead of bombing our airfields. And because of that, the story goes, we survived, otherwise we'd have lost early on. Yeah, well, that's the story anyway. So we started bombing the civilians in World War II. We turned down gestures of peace, but that doesn't make Hitler a nice guy, as Adrian seems to think. A good guy. They were all scumbags, all of them, on every side. The only good guys were the poor brainwashed soldiers who they sent off to fight on the front lines, thinking they were fighting for a good reason. But Hitler was their perfect. He was their perfect guy. I mean, when you look at the videos now of him, it's just embarrassing. He was just another puppet, another Jesuit Masonic puppet in their big stage show and game show, which is life.